to share the teaser of this two-day international conference on comparative law. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Amity University, a research and innovation-driven university. Welcome to Amity University, a world-class university with 11 universities, 28 peace schools, and 16 global campuses. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a research and innovation-driven university committed to the cause of education, following the ideals, principles, and values laid down by none other than our founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan sir, and led by the dynamic and visionary leadership of our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan sir, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla ma'am. On behalf of Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, Honorable Founder President, Amity Education Group, we extend a very warm welcome to all the participants, dignitaries of the virtual days to the valedictory ceremony of the two-day international conference on comparative law hosted by Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, in collaboration with School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, Western Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome all the dignitaries of the days. Our guest of honor, learned Judge Quas Adil, who's judge in Algeria. Guest of honor, Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, who's Joint Secretary, Ministry of Law and Justice. Honorable guest of honor, Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, Judge at Rajasthan High Court. Guest of honor, Honorable Ms. Justice Madam Ladyship Lyubka Petrova ma'am, who's Judge at Supreme Court of Bulgaria, Supreme Administrative Court of Bulgaria. Guest of honor, Honorable Mr. Justice Salim Marsouf, sir, Judge, Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, and non-resident Justice of Appeal, Supreme Court of Fiji, with the virtual presence of Joint Head of the Department, Professor Dr. Aditya Tomar, sir, Chairman, Professor Dr. D.K. Bandyopadhyay, the conveners, co-conveners, and all the organizing committee members, including the faculty members and the students. So truth never damages a cause that is just, which is quoted by the great Mahatma Gandhi with his maxim. Let us begin this fine valedictory ceremony with the lighting of the lamp. The lighting of the lamp signifies the acknowledgement and the blessings. I would now request all the dignitaries of the virtual dais to join this virtual lighting of the lamp, which is an invocation dedicated to the light in our lives. I request my colleague, Mr. Rupendra Singh, to share the lighting of the lamp video. With this, we pray to God to take us to the path of righteousness.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि
great Lord, take us to the path of righteousness, enlighten us, and guide us towards immortality. Ladies and gentlemen, at Amity University, modernity blends with tradition. And to keep this tradition alive, we would now warmly welcome our guests for the day with Tulsi saplings virtually. I would request Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla ma'am, Honorable Chairman sir, Director sir, virtually to welcome all our guests with Tulsi saplings.
As a token of warmth and gratitude from the Amity family, the Tulsi sapling is being presented to Honorable Mr. Justice Salim Marsouf by our founder President Sir Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan. As a token of warmth and gratitude from the Amity family, the Tulsi sapling is being presented to Honorable Miss Justice Lyubika Petrova by our Honorable Chancellor Sir Dr. Atul Chauhan. A token of warmth and gratitude from the Amity family, the Tulsi sapling is being presented to Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati by our Vice Chancellor Ma'am Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla. As a token of warmth and gratitude from the Amity family, the Tulsi sapling is being presented to Mr. G.R. Raghavendra from our Chairman Sir, Professor Dr. D.K. Bandhopadhyay and Dr. Joshua N. Aston. As a token of warmth and gratitude from the Amity family, the Tulsi sapling is being presented to Mr. Khuas Adel from our additional directors and joint heads, Professor Dr. Aditya Tomar Sir and Professor Dr. Shafali Raizada Ma'am. As a token of warmth and gratitude from the Amity family, the Tulsi sapling is being presented to our Honorable Chancellor Dr. Atul Chauhan from our Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla and our Chairman Sir Professor Dr. D.K. Bandhopadhyay. As a token of warmth and gratitude from the Amity family, the Tulsi sapling is being presented to our founder President Sir Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan by our Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla Ma'am, our Chairman Professor Dr. D.K. Bandhopadhyay Sir and our Additional Director and Joint Head Professor Dr. Aditya Tomar Sir. Every celebration is an experience. The external fades away and the internal lingers and echoes in the most depth of our hearts. And hereby, we thank you on behalf of the Amity family for your esteemed presence.
Thank you so much, Amity family, for doing the honors and honorable dignitaries of the days for gracing the occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, I remember the then Chief Justice of Honorable Supreme Court of the United States of America, Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes, who once said that the great thing in the world is not so much where we stand, as in what direction we are moving. And at Amity University, we are moving forward each day for the cause of humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, having said so, I would now request Professor Dr. Aditya Tomar, who is the conference chairperson, additional director, and joint head of the institution at Amity Law School, Noida, to present the welcome address. Over to you, respected sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sumitra. Good afternoon, everyone, honorable guests, participants, faculty member, and dear students. I welcome one and all to the valedictory ceremony of Third International Conference on Comparative Law, hosted by Amity Law School, Noida, in collaboration with School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, Western Australia. On behalf of the brimming spirit and zeal of the organizing committee, I would like to take the privilege of welcoming our eminent guest for today. Firstly, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome our distinguished guest of honor, Honorable Mr. Justice Salim Marsouf, Judge, Supreme Court of Sri Lanka and non-resident Justice of Appeal, Supreme Court of Fiji. We welcome you, sir. It's a great opportunity for all. We are very thankful that you could spare your valuable time for the students. Most welcome, sir. Thank you. I would like to take opportunity to welcome our distinguished guest of honor, Honorable Miss Justice Lyubka Petrova, Judge at Supreme Court, Administrative Court of Bulgaria. Ladyship, we are very thankful for your kind gesture that you took out some time despite your busy schedule to attend this ceremony. We welcome you, madam. I would like to extend my warm welcome to Honorable Mr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, Judge, High Court of Rajasthan. We are very thankful you, sir, that you heartily agreed to present your address today. Thank you, Honorable Lordship. We always look up to you for your mentorship. I extend my hearty welcome to distinguished guest of honor, Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Law and Justice, who took out time despite his busy schedule and address all the delegates of the conference. Many thanks, respected sir. I heartily welcome distinguished guest of honor, Mr. Khosh Adel, Judge in Algeria. We are very thankful to you, sir, for your valuable time to motivate and guide the students. Thank you, Honorable Sir, for your gracious presence. My most humble welcome to our dear friend, Dr. Joshua N. Aston, Associate Professor, Associate Dean of Law, School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, Western Australia, and Conference Chairperson, Australia, who has been by our side in every academic endeavor that we do. Thank you, Dr. Joshua. My heartfelt welcome to our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir, with whose blessings, love, and support we continue to make all the differences in the world by instilling in us and values of hard work, inspiration, social outreach, so we can create a just society for the present and future generations. We are indeed indebted to you for your gracious presence and motivation, sir. We are greatly thankful to our Honorable Chancellor, sir, Dr. Atul Chauhan, who believes that together we can change the world, and the Amity Law School, Noida. The cause of changing the world is based on dispensing justice by making all the stakeholders in legal fraternity work in tandem with the spirit. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm deeply honored and humbled by the trust endowed upon us by the great leader of higher education of our times, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam, Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, Madam, who has always motivated us to do something bigger in the innovative way every time. Thank you, Madam. Most welcome. My hearty thanks to our Honorable Chairman, Professor Dr. D.K. Bandyopadhyay, who has been a great leader of higher education and with whose motivation Amity Law School, Noida is growing each day on the global canvas. In the spirit of my most humble gratitude, I warmly welcome our academic partners from Australia, International Law Schools Association, ILSA, and Council of Australian Law Dean. And in India, our academic partners, Professor Dr. N.K. Sinha, Vice Chancellor, Himalayan Garhwal University, Professor Dr. G.S. Vajpayee, Vice Chancellor, Rajiv Gandhi National University, Patiala, Professor Dr. Shanta Kumar, Director, GNLU Gandhinagar, Professor Dr. Nishtha Jaswal, VC, NLU Himachal Pradesh, Professor Dr. S.K. Bhatnagar, VC, RML, National Law University, Uttar Pradesh. Laws are evolved and developed in many ways. Comprising the laws of different nations are even cultures provided by the unique way to develop laws in better manner. Comparative laws is one such method which describes the comparisons between different legal systems. Comparative laws has managed to create its own important spaces within 2 decades. There are jurisdictional approaches which recognize the comparative law methods. Comparative laws plays a significant role not only in international relations but to understand a deeper meaning of legal systems as well. In the last 2 days, we discussed all the facets about the comparison of laws. Once again, on behalf of the entire organizing committee, I welcome all guests, participants, faculty members, and students. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Aditya Tomar sir, our very respected and dear additional director and joint head of the institution at Amity Law School, Noida. Sir, with the same brimming debt of gratitude, I express my unconditional gratitude to you because you're one person who has given us unconditional support for this conference. Thank you so much, sir. And sir, with that, we also sink in with what Martin Luther King Jr. once said, that we shall overcome anything and everything. It is because we believe in justice and also because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Having said so, ladies and gentlemen, I will now request our very respected and honorable Professor Dr. D.K. Bandyopadhyay sir, who is chairman at Amity Law Schools and also the chief advisor to none other than our honorable founder president, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan sir. Over to you, Professor Dr. D.K. Bandyopadhyay sir.
Thank you, Sumitra. Good afternoon to one and all. I welcome you on behalf of entire Amity Universe, especially on behalf of Founder President, our Honorable Chancellor, and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, to the distinguished dignitaries present on the valedictory function. Lordships, Mr. Justice Salim Masroub of Supreme Court of Sri Lanka and Fiji, Miss Justice Lyubka Petrova, Supreme Administrative Court of Bulgaria, Dr. Justice Pushpender Singh Bhati, Rajasthan High Court, Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, Joint Secretary, Minister of Law and Justice, and Mr. Kwas Adel, Judge in Algeria. For the information of those who are the first time getting attached, because we use the word attached, because whomsoever we invite, whomsoever we interact, they get attached with the Amity. And that is the vibration of Amity. So I would like to mention that the Amity Universe has been created by one man, a giant, highly recognized Indian industrialist of Germany, returned from Germany with a mission of creating India to become a knowledge superpower through the impartment of quality and value-based education. He has created 11 universities in India, 3 universities in Dubai, Tashkent, and North Island, Long Island, with 15 universities campuses across the globe, London, Mauritius, San Francisco, Australia, France, to name a few. His legacy is further strengthened by his son, our very dynamic, tech-savvy Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan, to actualize his dream. Our Vice Chancellor, with eyes on details, implements their mission. Our founder and Chancellor has a special love for law education, and they strongly feel soft skills, such as advocacy skills, are one of the most important tools for showing a knowledge power to other nations to make them feel how Indians are different from other nations. About 12,000 students are taking legal education from the Amity Group Law Schools. And look at the figure, 12,000 students. And they encourage every student, our authority encourage every student to understand other nations' culture, customs, and the processes of governance. That is why so much of importance are given for international exposure to the student. They have given the slogan that together, as my joint HOI was mentioning, that our Chancellor has given a slogan that together we shall change the world, where there will be no dominance or dictation by any nation to other for peaceful coexistence. This conference, unique of its kind, with 160 papers, presentation in the presence of so many who is who in the legal education and practitioner, with 5 themes. 5 themes of comparative law. Now, all of you know that those were the students in the legal fraternity. Comparative law is not a law in itself, but a method of looking at the legal problem, a comparative approach to the study of laws and legal institutions of 2 or more countries. It is not a particular branch of law or a subject, but a process of study of foreign law in comparison with local law. It is a process of gaining understanding of law as prevalent in other countries. It ascertains the differences and similarities in the legal rules, principles, and institutions of 2 or more other countries with a view to finding solution for local problems. It helps in establishing harmonious relations with other countries. The importance of comparative law, because all of us know that generally law follows the society. So the problem in the society first takes place, then law follows in terms of finding the solution of the problem. So we take help from the different countries in understanding their legal system. And so the importance of the comparative law has increased enormously in the present age of internationalization, economic globalization, and democratization. The origin of comparative law may at the earliest be traced from middle of the 19th century. Then lots of evolution has taken place and many legal concepts have emerged. By the end of 19th and early 20th century, the comparative lawyers under the influence of the positive sciences wished to find out which legal rules, legal concept, and legal institutions were common in all societies. However, in the second half of the 20th century, various innovative initiatives were implemented with an aim to find out a common core among various legal systems in some areas. The common core method is basically based on the functional method. And to some extent, it was combined with the law in context method. The primary aim of the common core method is to search for similarities and differences among the various legal systems in view of the question to what extent harmonization is possible among the compared legal system. The Australian, Indian, or a Kenyan lawyer who is expected to take into account not only his own national system, but also the laws of England and of other common law jurisdictions in the Commonwealth. All comparison now has become a very dynamic and interesting subject for every law professional. I must congratulate Dr. Tomar, Joint HY, for taking these important areas of deliberations and discourses and supported by Dr. Aizada, Joint HY of Amity Law School, Noida, for conducting these very unique conferences consecutively for 3 years. And that's the reason we all the time say that our Vice Chancellor say, do different things, but do the things differently. So we do not do the same thing which we did last year, and this year we did it in a different way. My special thank goes to Dr. Jane Matthew, Mr. Rupinder Singh, Dr. Lekharani Singh, Ms. Priyanka Ghai, Ms. Sakshi Parasar for their spearheading and working out nitty-gritty of the conference. I shall fail in my duties if I do not highly appreciate the efforts made by Dr. Sumitra Singh for coordinating at all fronts of the success of this conference, along with our very brilliant student coordinator. Thank you, Dr. Joshua, for your personal involvement and bringing the collaboration between the two great law schools of the world. One is located in Australia, Edith Cobbin University's Law School, and another at India, Amity Law School of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. I am thankful to all paper presenters and the keynote speakers and dignitaries who accepted our invitation for sparing their valuable time. And I must thank all the dignitaries who are present in today's valedictory function for sparing the time to come over here. And from the different countries, we have the lordships from 3 countries, and we have the joint law secretary present over there in this valedictory function. So they say that all good that ends good. So the valedictory function is going to be an eventful event, and with the presence of this dignitary, it will not be in my fulfillment if I do not mention that all these forward-looking activities are being done with the directions of our honorable founder presidents, with the extreme support of our honorable chancellor, and then all the blessings from the honorable vice chancellor. So thank you once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairman, sir. And your words have set the ball rolling for the valedictory ceremony. And very rightly said, sir, learning never ends at Amity University. It will always take you just a step higher, and your name with Amity will be remembered for all times to come. And today, everybody who became a part of the 2-day international conference has become an Amitian at heart. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And having said so, ladies and gentlemen, I remember Honorable Chief Justice William Douglas, who once said that the liberties of none are safe unless the liberties of all are protected. And at Amity, we see that every student becomes the best version of himself. Having said so, ladies and gentlemen, it's a proud privilege to have with us None other than Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla Ma'am, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Amity University, Uttar Pradesh. Madam Vice Chancellor has been the guiding light for all of us, a source of continuous inspiration, an excellent administrator who leads by example. Madam is a goldsmith who polishes each one of us and leads us towards excellence. Also, through her innovative entrepreneurial ventures and the human values and the outreach activities at Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Madam envisages to build an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Madam, may we please request you to present your address and guide us and motivate all of us. Over to you, Honorable Ma'am.
Thank you very much, Sumitra. A very honorable, distinguished guest of honor, Mr. Kos Edel, Judge of Algeria. Our distinguished guest of honor, Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Law and Justice. Our distinguished guest of honor, Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhatiji, Judge, Rajasthan High Court. Our distinguished guest of honor, Honorable Justice Loika Petrova, Judge of Supreme Court, Administrative Court of Bulgaria. Our distinguished guest of honor, Honorable Mr. Justice Salim Marsoof, Judge, Supreme Court of Sri Lanka and Non-Resident Justice of Appeal, Supreme Court of Fiji. And our distinguished Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Justice N.V. Ramannaji, the Chief Justice of India, and all the distinguished guests, my colleagues, Dr. Bandyopadhyay, Professor Aditya Tomar, Shafali Raijada, faculty members, and all the participants. First of all, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of our Honorable Founder President, Honorable Chancellor, my personal behalf, and on behalf of all my colleagues. The conference organized by Amity Law School on the theme Comparative Law is very apt, because in today's environment, when we are looking at the globalization over the last many years, have brought the altogether a scenario where dependence, interdependence, and the mutual respect, at the same time having the resolving the conflicts because of the different laws of the different countries, which sometimes becomes the very, very important. And therefore understanding, because all the law schools world over, normally they teach their own country's law. In some of the states, in some of the countries, they have even the state laws. And therefore in those countries, for example, in USA, the all states, they also have to look at the other states' laws when they are making the, taking any judgments. So therefore in today's scenario, for all the law graduates, the law professionals, it's important to understand the international laws as well as the compare what are their native laws. So I'm sure this conference, which has been organized by Amity Law School, must have given a lot of perspective to the students and all the law professionals, because I can see for the last 2 days, the speakers are from across the globe. Even in today's valedictory session, we can see that so many countries are represented in this valedictory session. So understanding the legal perspectives of the different countries, it gives the not only knowledge, but it also makes the better understanding, and which also result into a better resolutions of any problem, any issues, or any other difficulty, but at the same time, it helps to improve the laws of the own countries. So I would like to congratulate Dr. D.K. Bandyopadhyay, Chairman of Amity Law School, and his entire team who have been able to put together this excellent conference. And I'm sure, that this conference will be give the great learning. And that's what the vision of our Honorable Founder President is, that how we bring the word to amity and take amity to the world, building the relationship with the various universities across the globe, giving the global exposure to the students through the conferences, guest lectures, student exchange, faculty exchange, joint research and collaborations. And I'm sure this conference will not just end today with the valedictory session, but it will be opening many opportunities for the researchers and the academicians and the faculty from Amity to collaborate and work with the researchers and the academicians from across the globe in various areas, and which will be definitely be developing not only the a national talent but a global talent. With this, once again, I extend very warm welcome and congratulate Team Amity Law School for putting this wonderful conference.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Let's have a round of applause for our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Madam. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your beautiful words. Ma'am, you always spellbound us with your beautiful words, ma'am, and always motivates us. Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, Honorable Lordship, Justice Salim Marsood, sir, and Honorable Ladyship, Justice Petrova, ma'am, you would not understand what I'm going to say next. In our country, we believe in what our scriptures say about global friendship and camaraderie. We say in our scriptures, which is titled Maha Upanishad, which says, Udar Charita Nam tu Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means that what we believe is in global friendship. For us, the world is one big family, and so we love our family so much. And today, it's a proud privilege that all of you became a part of Amity family. Having said so, I remember Edmund Burke, who said that there is but one law for all. There can be comparative laws, but there is one law for all of us, and that law governs all the laws. The law for the Creator, the law of humanity, justice, equity, and that is the law of nature and nations. Having said so, it's our proud privilege to have with us our guest of honor, Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, who is Joint Secretary at the Ministry of Law and Justice in India. Mr. Raghavendra is a civil servant from the Central Secretariat Services in 1988 and currently posted as Joint Secretary, Department of Justice, Ministry of Law and Justice, Government of India, New Delhi. Previously, he was the Joint Secretary in the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, Ministry of Commerce and Industry at Government of India from 2015 to 17, and he's also held the additional charge of Director General at National Productivity Council from the year 2015 to 16. Sir is very passionate about intellectual property rights and is known worldwide about his passion about intellectual property, especially the copyright related rights. He's worked as Registrar of Copyrights of the Indian Copyrights Office from 2007 to 14 and played a key role in the introduction of amendments to the Copyright Act in the year 2012 and the introduction of the copyright rules in India in the year 2013, and has been an advisor to so many international treaties. It is with much respect and with delight that I would now request Mr. G.R. Raghavendra to present his address. Over to you, respected sir.
Vande Mataram, and thank you, Dr. Sumitra, Honorable Chief Justice Ramana Garu, and Honorable Justice Puspendra Singh Bhattiji, Honorable Justice Petrova, and Mr. Justice Mashroof, and Honorable Justice Petrova, and all distinguished legal community, justice, and of course, the great Chancellor of the great university, Amity, Dr. Chauhan, Dr. Bandyopadhyay, and Dr. Professor Shukla, and Dr. Tomar, and all distinguished faculty members of Amity. I would like to congratulate Amity for organizing this great comparative law international conference. Understand that more than 170 papers have been presented during this conference, and this is the final curtain down, that is the valedictory function. My experience in dealing with law began with comparative law. When I was posted as Register of Copyright, the first task was given to me to amend the copyright law. So the 2012 Copyright Act amendment was done with a lot of study, that is comparative law study we did it. Because the first thing we have to harmonize Indian law, extend the copyright protection from physical environment to the digital environment, online protection. So we have to make our law in harmony with the WIPO Copyright Treaty, WIPO Performance Phonograms Treaty, and few elements which have missed out while harmonizing with the WTO TRIPS agreement. While doing so, we have not simply adopted the minimum standards of the international conventions of the WIPO governing the internet treaties, what we are called, normally called. We studied various laws, Australian law, American law, the way Digital Millennium Copyright Act was introduced in 1998. Similarly, we focus more on the UK law and German law and French law because we picked up the best elements. With my experience of negotiating and as a chief negotiator for India in the two main treaties and also the RCEP regional agreement, which we finally dropped out, regional comprehensive economic treaty with the ASEAN countries and its trade partners. So the international norm setting happens from the best practices of various countries' laws. They come up, they become an international norm. And then we adopt sometimes if we don't do that. But a lot of credit goes to the law schools, which they do a lot of research and publish papers and books. These various flags raised by them open the eyes of civil servants like me. We rely on that and while amending the laws. That's what we have done in copyright law amendments. We have the best of the best things we introduced there, and especially the way we address the performers' right, that became a unique example because the treaty for the audiovisual the protection failed during the diplomatic conference in the year 2000. Year 2010, India discovered a solution for the transfer of rights. We introduced the concept of right to receive royalties not only for the author composers and also the performers, and the transfer of rights which have been cut off by the Rome Convention with a cutoff provision when the rights of performers transfer to the producers, that is the authors of the film or movie. So this concept we took to the international level. It was liked by the American delegation and the Nigerian delegation. Most of you know that Nigeria is another filmmaking hub in Africa. So all three countries sat down and drafted, which was fine-tuned by the EU, that became the law. If you see the Article 12 of the Beijing Treaty, transfer of rights from performer to the film producers, it clearly finds Indian statute, phrases, language, the right to receive royalties to various other phrases, included there. Similarly, when we, drafted the exception provisions, copyright exception provision in section 52, subsection 1 ZB, for the visually impaired and physically disabled people, because the normal formats they can't access. Only physical world, there was a braille was there. Now the digital and internet environment, various accessible specialized formats are there. So we said that they need not take any permission or license either from the authors or the publishers, and not even while creating a audio description format. Audio description format, a conversion of a normal film to audio description format helps blind people to understand the moving picture. They can proudly say, I've seen the film. It's because no such audio description format soon be introduced in educational level in India under the new education policy. That is one of the decisions. So this will help. So the standards we have, best standards we picked up from over 70 countries, and then formulated our law and took these formulations and concept to international level when Marrakesh Treaty happened in 2013. Again, you see Indian phrases, Indian language, Indian legal language there. So these are the achievements of India in doing the comparative law research and benefiting the best practices and including them in Indian law, and also taking them again to international law. And then I can't end any talk on international intellectual property law or a comparative law without giving an example of the trade related aspects of intellectual property rights, the WTO agreement. While negotiating that, entire the negotiating teams of the World Diplomatic Conference was divided into three parts. One is the developing nations, which technologically innovations and R&D research far superior. You take their pharma medicines, multinational pharma or IT or any other trade product, all multinational goods, any technology, including the fashion related products are dominated by them. Then we have countries like India, developing countries, and least developing countries like Bangladesh and other poor African countries. So we drafted a language in such a way that it will help these countries to prosper. Of course, the implementation of obligations, separate timelines were given for the developing countries and least developing countries. The beauty of this treaty is so that, because of the flexibilities we introduced that, it has become a very good example for the people who study comparative law and intellectual property rights. Flexibilities in the TRIPS helped us in the countries like India to strengthen their patent laws. Today we proudly say that India is the pharmacy of the world, and India has become a leader among the vaccine production countries, because we started with our Atmanirbhar vaccine, Covaxin of Bharat Biotech from Hyderabad, which is a dead virus pharma technology. And then we got a license from AstraZeneca, Oxford. We started manufacturing Covishield in the Serum Institute, that is the vector-based virus technology. And we were still struggling to make nuclear acid variety vaccines, or that is mRNA varieties, messenger RNA varieties like Moderna we have, and the Pfizer we have. But recently we succeeded. But before that, if you remember, when Prime Minister Honorable Sri Narendra Modi ji announced during his speech in the UN Assembly that India is the first country to manufacture, make it available without giving a job, without using a syringe, that is a DNA variety. So messenger DNA variety vaccine, it is the first country to produce, that is in India. That is the Jaidis Cardella has made. So yeah, all these patent flexibilities, patent law flexibilities we introduce, it allows us to grant compulsory license. We don't allow any evergreening of patents, because nothing known formula or a known product which comes out with a new use that cannot be given a patent. Then we don't have the data exclusivity. The question comes, you must have seen when the clearance given to all these vaccines, the market approvals, DGIC approvals, the test data, the clinical test data, that data we don't give special time protection beyond the 20 years of the patent protection, which have been interpreted in such a way that data exclusivity of 5 years in the US or 8 years in EU or 10 years some elsewhere. We say we protect only the patent misappropriation we protect, we don't give extension. Similarly, we don't allow any linkage, patent linkage in our law. So when a medicine or a vaccine gets a patent, that is exclusively different from the market approval. So we won't stop other generic medicine which introduces biosimilar and bioequivalent similar therapeutic use medicines without copying and without misappropriating the test data of the and the technology of the existing patented medicines or vaccines. They can get market approved. That is the reason why Indian generic medicines have become an example, and that is the growing industry, and the contribution to our GDP is more. Another flexibility we introduce in the TRIPS, which helps in study of a comparative law, you know, it is about the software. Now, the algorithms, software become a common study point when these new cutting edge technologies are coming, whether it is artificial intelligence, test data mining, and now we have more disruptions, innovations happening when everyone were shivering to come out of the home when the second COVID pandemic wave was going on. The intelligent and beautiful mind was sitting and then creating non-fungible token arts. NFT art was going on, and and then NFT linkage with the patent and design and copyright is really mind-boggling happening, and all this need a lot of comparative law studies. So Americans grant software patents, and we don't grant software patent. Of course, a recent case of Alice clearly mentioned American Supreme Court says that abstract ideas cannot be patentable because the most of the algorithms, business methods, and computer softwares are abstract method. That's what we said in the beginning, because there was a reason for not introducing software law in India after studying entire world the way they are introduced, because we wanted our comparative advantage, our IT industry to go. The Bangalore started in the 80s with the IT technology, IT industry advantage, and then it has spread to various parts of India. Now, India is the biggest IT country in the world, similar to the generic form of medicine, because of our patent laws. So we never introduce, we don't recognize it as an invention, a computer program per se, unless and until it is making a device to function. Similarly, AI induced invented works. So here we introduce copyright protection for that. So a lot of comparative law helped in Indian policymaker, Indian legislators. So this has to go on. This has to go on to strengthen our laws so that it helps the judiciary from confusion, that with the set law, the proper drafted law has to be there, and it will help them to give very good judgment when a commercial dispute associated with these things brought before them. Of course, Commercial Court Act facilitates from the district court level. That's what we are doing in the Department of Justice, promoting this enforcing contract indicator. And then we have the most important comparative study of how AI technology is being used, how these AI related laws are being introduced in various countries. Australia and South Africa have granted patents to machines because machines are not a person, person has to be a natural person to get intellectual property protection. And of course, institution like Amity University, which is a legal person or a juristic person, they do get. But and on these areas, the new emerging areas, we need a lot of comparative studies and laws, especially the blockchain and DNA printing is coming up. So, not only the law and technology related, whereas other aspects, civil laws, criminal laws, also we need uh, to have these kind of studies done. And congratulate once again the Valedictory University selecting the very important topic that is comparative law for this international conference. And thank you, Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, sir, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Law and Justice. Let's have a huge round of applause for sir. Thank you so much. A beautiful address, and you very well talked about how India is on its way to become a resilient India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, and it's really a proud privilege for all of us that we recently attained the number of so many crores of vaccines, 100 crore vaccinations we could do in the country, and we could also provide vaccines to more than 52 countries in the world. Well, having said so, that brings us back to where I had said that in times of COVID, we realized about the shrinking of the physical boundaries of the globe. And what remains with all of us is the law which governs all the law, and that is the law of the humanity, justice and equity, the law of nature and of the nations. Having said so, we are just joined by our joint head of the institution, who's additional director, Professor Dr. Shefali Raizada, ma'am. Ma'am, I would now request you to present your address. Over to you, respected ma'am.
Thank you. Very good evening to all the distinguished guests. And it is a really great honor for all of us in Amity Law School and Amity University to welcome you again and again in the beginning, in the middle of the event, and at the last and for all time. So it is really a great occasion. We are at the concluding moment or concluding ceremony of the third international annual international conference on comparative law, along with the School of the Business Law at Edith Cowan University, Australia. So this conference in last 2 days must have proved as exceptionally rewarding academic experience. And it has provided a lot of opportunity to think critically and floated many research ideas. So very quickly, again and again, I will welcome all our distinguished speaker and guests for the occasion, and especially to our chief guest, Honorable Mr. Justice. I extend a very warm welcome to Honorable Mr. Justice N.B. Ramana, sir, for coming, and we are really obliged, sir. Our guest of honors, Honorable Mr. Justice Pushpendra Singh, sir, Honorable Mr. Justice Petrova, who is from Supreme Administrative Court, Bulgaria, and Honorable Mr. Justice Salim Marsouf, Supreme Court Judge of Sri Lanka. We are really honored, and we are just taking a privilege to welcome you on this occasion. Mr. Raghavendra, sir, we are really honored to have you here on this occasion. And really, sir, we are really obliged and really feeling great to have you here on this moment, Mr. Adel, Judge in Algeria. So it's really a great honor for Amity Law School, Amity University to welcome you, and on such a high platform to have you here and to have your inputs on the theme to give more motivation and inspiration to all the students and the faculty members of the Amity Law School. So welcome you once again. And thank you so much for sparing time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
over
much.
to Dr.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, respected ma'am. The additional director and the joint head of the institution, Professor Dr. Shefali Raizada, ma'am. Thank you so much for the beautiful words. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is one thing beyond which there is nothing, and that is the constitution of the territory in which you're staying. For us, the constitution of our country, which embodies within itself the rule of law. And having said that, the historical foundations of the rule of law in our country proceeds far more than the Greek and the Roman prescriptions. I'm telling you this because I'm remembering the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which says that the king is the king of kings, far more powerful than they are, and nothing can be mightier than the law, by whose aids as that of the highest monarch, the weak may prevail over the strong. And this and much has been deliberated in the 2 days international conference on comparative law, because human dignity, democracy, and justice, together with the law at confluence, remain three important values, not only in our country, but across the globe. Having said so, ladies and gentlemen, it's our proud privilege to have amongst us our distinguished guest of honor, Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, Honorable Judge at Rajasthan High Court. Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, obtained his BA LLB and LLM in mercantile law, PhD in promotion and seniority in public employment. Its changing dimensions and role of Supreme Court was the topic of his thesis. Sir practiced in Rajasthan High Court, Jodhpur, mainly in the writ jurisdiction spanning across service laws, public interest litigation, election revenue, mining, education, panchayati raj, family, criminal, and miscellaneous matters. Lordship was Additional Advocate General at the Rajasthan High Court, Jodhpur from 2008, from the 13th of October 2008 to 29th of December 2008. And in the year 2014, till his elevation, he remained a panel lawyer for Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, Labour Department, Government of Rajasthan, Ayurved Department, Government of Rajasthan. He represented Reserve Bank of India at Jai Narayan Vyas University, Jodhpur, and many other bodies. He was also the Standing Counsel for Indian Railways for 16 years. Lordship was elected as member Bar Council of Rajasthan from 2009 to 15 and was elected as President, Rajasthan High Court Lawyers Association from the year 2011 to 13, and as General Secretary, Rajasthan High Court Advocates Association in the year 2001. Excellent swimmer and a shooter and a glider and much more extracurricular activities are endowed naturally upon our Honorable Lordship, Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, including NCC, A, B, and C certificates that also shows his sporting attitude. And so we always look up to you as our mentor. It is with great respect, gratitude, and delight that we would now welcome Honorable Lordship, Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, Judge, Rajasthan High Court, to address the gathering. Over to you, respected sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sumitra. I humbly submit to your introduction, and although it was, anyway, thank you so much to make me a part of this graceful function. And I must say that learning never ends. As Vangopadhyay Sahab has just said, that learning never ends and should never end. And Raghavendra Sahab, when he said Garu to Chief Justice of India, I was wondering for one moment that what it would be like. I have never heard this term. So, but luckily my researcher was also online, Ajay Menon. He's from South, so he enlightened me by saying that it is a very positive and a very respectful term. And so I am enjoying each bit of it. And my lords, the captain of the law fraternity, the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Amanna, Honorable Justice Salim, Sri Lankan Supreme Court, Honorable Justice Petrova, and Madam Shefali Raizada, Vice Chancellor Madam Balwinder Shukla, Dr. Sakshi Parishar, Dr. Joshua, all the dignitaries who are present here, Dr. Jain. It is a pleasure. It is a pleasure to be amongst the youngsters, to be a part of them, maybe in a valedictory session, because in daily life, the law and justice system does not really, I mean, it teaches you every day though, but the academic discussions which sometimes are really required for taking and giving inputs are always available in such good programs. And I'm sure today it will be me who is the gainer at the end of the day. The topic is excellent. Comparative laws, as each one of us has said. Madam Vice Chancellor just pointed out that Madam Dr. Balwinder just pointed out that the comparative law studies is slightly on the back foot in the law schools. Not that we are not having it, but she's right that it is the idea of the day. And it becomes idea of the day because Dr. Sumitra, really we have become Vasudev Kutumbakam now, because the global platform has become one thing which is, is catching the eyes of the citizen of today. And every law needs progressive approach. Raghavendra ji just told us that using artificial intelligence and algorithms and these technologies in framing laws, coining legislation, these things are very important, because these are the ideas which all of us as citizens of this country, citizens of this earth, we all have to live up to the occasion. The constitution of a country, in my humble opinion, is like a mirror to the country's progress, pragmatism, and its ideas. 36 lakhs words were said when our constitution was coined. The Constituent Assembly did a great job, and the whole thing took about 2 years, 11 months, long time, lot of deliberation. And the best part of our constitution is that we had an opportunity to borrow rather, I would not say borrow, I would say to bring about things from all over the country, the rich experiences, because we brought fundamental rights, we brought fundamental duties, we brought in directive principles, we brought in rule of law, equality, justice. So it was an overall an experience where but then we were careful. When we were young, there used to be debates in the school whether parliamentary form of government or presidential form of government. Where there were other debates also which continued. So these are, with the times, the debates changed. I see today the debate is not about the system, but about the kind of power that each governance ought to derive out of the constitution. And one of the finest examples for a living constitution is the Indian Constitution. The manner in which it has resolved the areas of governance, the areas of a citizen's rights, citizen's duties, directive principles. It's a wonderful document, grand norm, and it is really done a great job in last 72 plus years, 73 years. I was reading one of the name of that one of the academicians, Ginsburg. He said that an average written constitution lasts about 17 years. An example which was given was that in 1997, Thailand framed a constitution which lived for 9 years. So thank God we don't have we do not have that kind of experience, and our constitution is long living, and probably it is the Sri Lanka, Ghana, India, Ireland, and Pakistan who stand on a similar footing as far as the initiation of constitution is concerned. And I admire the Irish way of bringing it, because we learned a lot from Ireland. In fact, as a student of law, I really appreciated the manner in which in 1922 Ireland got their independence, and then they abrogated the constitution and they re-brought it in 1937 or something like that. And then this was only to undo the shackles of imperialism and the imperialism. India also, similarly, I may inform the international community that we also had to do a similar thing, because the idea of the day was very interesting. The idea of the day was that somebody who has to get independence should be either by revolution or by some kind of bloodbath or some kind of, it cannot be simply given by legislation. Independence cannot come by legislation. Fortunately, we did not have a lot of violence, and although there was some, but we fortunately did not have that kind of bloodbath in the country, and only except for the partition part of it. The Indian Independence Act and the Cabinet Mission Plan, they wanted the Constituent Assembly to make the Constitution, and then after making the Constitution to give it to the nation after approval from the British Parliament. So we did two procedural errors. One procedural error that was committed by the Constituent Assembly was that it was not sent to approval and ratification by the British Parliament. The second was that we made Article 395. By Article 395, we repealed the laws of Indian Independence Act and the previous existing umbilical cords of the Constitution. So we tried to make it truly the people of India. To make it probably the best example at that time was Ireland, because it did the same thing, and we could easily we did a good job by putting in Article 395 there. And today we find that the roots of our Constitution, they are wonderful roots, and we have been doing well. And I love the words of Honorable Justice Matthews in one of the judgments, and then followed later on, in which he said that this article, these fundamental rights are like empty vessel to be filled by the generation, by their contents, by their own contents, and the idea which is available at that time in the nation. And our citizens and the generations are doing well until now, and we hope they will continue to do so. The time taken by the Constitution and the amendments made are two issues where it is sometimes criticized, but then that is not. I do not subscribe to this kind of criticism, because the time taken was justified. It was a long time, and it was required for giving proper impact. And the amendments in the Constitution show our flexibility and the way in which we have gone ahead. And when I say that Constitution is a mirror of the country, if we see our amendments and our Constitution, we easily get the reflections of the land reforms, then the distribution of power, judicial reviews, Panchayati Raj, the local self-government, and all those amendments that have been brought in, they all carry a great substance and a great insight into how the Constitution works. So, but then I do not wish to criticize any country, but I wish to draw attention of the legal community and the student community in particular, that wherever you find that Constitution did not get rooted, the country could not gain stability. I am talking about democracies. The countries which tried to be democratic, the countries which tried to adopt democracy, but could not stabilize did not have a stable Constitution. They faltered in their democracies. They had to change their constitutions. Their knees were weak, and it became difficult for them to sustain the democracy as the whole thing went ahead. And I would not name any country, because that is my purpose is not to name any country, but certainly it was a thing which we all need to know. We got this rule of law, bicameral parliament, single citizenship, Lok Sabha and all from England, fundamental rights, Supreme Court, judicial review, independence of judiciary from US. France gave us republic, equality, liberty, fraternity. Australia gave us center-state relationship, which is a very, very delicate and a very, very important issue for a nation like ours. We had small 530 princely states, almost like independent nations, and bringing them under one umbrella. The best thing which our Constitution could do was to preserve the unity in diversity, and that's what it has done effectively. And probably for that, the center-state relationship was very important, because on one hand, we could not give total independence to the states like US, and on the other hand, we could not have a unitary system like UK. So we had to balance between the two, and I'm happy to say that the system which we have got today is quite effective and has been done, although with it faltered at initial level, but now it has stabilized quite a bit. The constitutional amendments we have taken from South Africa, Rajya Sabha also, some elections, the proportional representation system and all we have taken from there. And from other countries like Japan, we take the procedure established by law and such and such. So a lot of things, good things were taken, and I'm happy to note that the community at large uh, is thinking, the community of citizens, the community of law is thinking at large that yes, we need to have a balanced approach, a global approach, a Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam approach, an approach where we can, because there are a lot of areas where we all can work together, where we have a lot of things to do. Like we can, like we just the previous speakers have enlightened us in technologies like artificial intelligence, cryptocurrencies, vaccines, pandemics, in environmental technologies, even the courts. Artificial intelligence is being implemented in a lot of countries, and it has gone ahead and we can take a clue from each other, and we can go ahead along with the legal education, of course, because legal education has to be the foundation of bringing any change in the attitude of the law fraternity. It was an absolute COVID times was an absolute challenge, but the best part of it was that we also in India, I think, or in India, we think we got almost 10 years of push in terms of technology, and I could see that even in my court, I could see that we were able to function without a single paper moving here and there, complete from filing to judgment to reading to court to stenographer to pronouncement to giving a copy to the lawyer to everything was done, because this was a national policy under the able leadership of the Supreme Court. The national policy was coined, framed, and implemented. And the pandemic, just now Bangopadhyay sir was asking me that whether there can be how was the physical and versus virtual experience. So I just told him that there cannot be a substitute to the physical, but certainly there has to be an alternative, because if things like pandemic come in, or anything which comes in which requires the immediate emergent functioning, then there can be nothing better than usage of technology. And the manner in which I have seen technology changing in courts in last 1 year, I bow down to the technology, the experts who have given us everything was there on the screen. They gave us every facility. I know for education it was a bit difficult, because the children would not have the kind of maturity to have the attention towards the technology. They would use it. They are more friendly with it. We know that they are more friendly. They're far more friendly than us. We would take a hesitant step towards it unless pushed. But I saw that lawyers took very finely to the technology, and I saw it that the critical matters, I can almost claim on behalf of the courts that almost 80% work was going on, and this functionality was attained only because of technology. So the world over, the changes have to come, the spark has to remain, and it is for the younger generation whose shoulders have to be stronger to carry it forward. I wish we had, there are other great speakers whom we all would like to speak, we'd like to hear. I wish, I always love spending time with the youngsters. So it was a pleasure. Thank you, Amity. Thank you to John Saab and everybody who have given us this, wonderful institution and this wonderful platform to be here to exchange our ideas. Maybe next time we can meet here for a longer time and with a longer agenda and a longer topic. But it was absolutely enjoyment, and I hope, I'm sure it will be the best is yet to come. Thank you so much. Over to Sumitra ji.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sir. Thank you so much, Lordship. Let's have a huge round of applause for Honorable Lordship. Thank you so much, sir. So we see a mentor in you, sir, and we feel so home with you. Seems as if you have already been a family of Amity. Thank you so much, sir. And sir, definitely, sir.
That thing, madam, already Bangopadhyay sir has said that once you join, you can't leave. So everybody who has joined today or previously, we can't leave. You have to be part of it every time, forever. So now all of us here, each one of us who have spoken and who are going to speak, we are permanent part of your students. We are also like your students of law, at least. Thank you. Sorry, please continue.
So nice of you, sir. So you always touch our hearts. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Lordship. So let's move with the flow now. Well, everybody, at Amity University, we always believe that there should be an outcome of every activity, because it is not the thoughts in a progressive direction that is important, but the actions taken which become more significant. So, what has been my outcome as of now? I have been committed to carry out my duties as my outcome in accordance with both the letter and the spirit of all the applicable rules of ethics and laws that was deliberated in the 2 days conference has been my submission as of now to Honorable Lordship. I'm sure you must be getting the gist of the great outcomes that would be drawn out from the 2 days conference. Thank you so much for being here. So moving with the flow, dear ladies and gentlemen, we have amongst us Honorable Madam Ladyship, Justice Lyubka Petrova, who's Honorable Judge at the Supreme Administrative Court of Bulgaria. Madam is an experienced judge, member of the Supreme Administrative Court of Bulgaria, former Vice President of the Administrative Court of Sofia, with a demonstrated history of working in the judiciary. Honorable Ladyship is skilled in negotiation, research, English, administrative litigation, and intellectual property. Her legal background includes work as a lawyer and legal advisor, as a visiting lecturer, and a strong professional who graduated from Sofia University, St. Clement Oritsky. It is with great delight and pleasure and respect that I would now request Madam Ladyship, Honorable Ms. Justice Lyubka Petrova, to give her blessings and words of wisdom to all of us.
Honorable Mr. Chairman of this conference, very honorable Professor Pommer, honorable Professor Raizada, honorable Professor Bandiopati, Professor Supa, honorable Mr. Kalsadil, honorable Mr. Raghavendra, honorable Dr. Atul Chauhan, honorable Dr. Justice Rupendra Singh Bhatti, Honorable Justice Salim Masood, Honorable Mr. Justice Raman, Honorable Dr. Chauhan, Honorable Dr. Alsinu, Dr. Ms. Rupendra Singh, and Dr. Jane Ayanatri. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm flattered and very excited to attend the valedictory session of this interesting international conference on comparative law. It is a pleasure for me to hear the words of everyone present today and to gain new knowledge and experience. On behalf of my colleagues and on my own behalf, I would like to express my deepest respect for the work of my colleagues in this conference. I'm sure that we had fruitful sessions yesterday, and I hope that next year I will be able to present for you the Bulgarian Constitution and its basic legal principles. Today, I just want to mention the foundation of which it is based. The most important principles of our Constitution are people's sovereignty, rule of law, equality of citizens, political pluralism, democracy, principles of separation of power, liberalism of market economy, humanism, welfare state, and consumer protection. According to the concept of constitutional guarantees, the existence of a constitution and constitutional jurisdiction is enough to call the state legal. But we all know that it is not enough. Modern understanding of democratic constitutionalism also take into account the content of the constitution itself, the possibilities to be controlled by civil society, and the presence of justice and the rule of law. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I admire your relentless efforts to educate your students and enlighten their minds, introduce them to the basic legal principles governing the modern world, which would be the basis for a prosperous and peaceful future. Dear Dr. Sumitra Singh, thank you once again for the kind invitation and the wonderful organization. And I wish all of the participants and your families good health, success, and joy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Ladyship, for your love and blessings for all of us, ma'am. Your presence has really touched our hearts, and your warmth as always, ma'am. We've been in touch since so much of time, and ma'am, I have realized that eventually with times things change, and that one should be totally focused on the goal. And ma'am, you're a source of inspiration for so many of the girls who are into judiciary, who aspire to become judges. And ma'am, we see you as our source of inspiration. Thank you so much, Madam Ladyship, for being here. We are so touched. Thank you, ma'am. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I said that justice is the crowning glory of all the virtues. Having said so, it's a proud privilege to have with us Honorable Justice Salim Marsouf, Sir, Honorable Lordship, who's judge at Supreme Court of Sri Lanka and non-resident Justice of Appeal at Supreme Court of Fiji. Honorable Justice Salim Marsood Sir had adorned the official bar in Sri Lanka for 28 years, rising from the State Council to the position of Additional Solicitor General prior to being elevated as the President of the Court of Appeal of Sri Lanka in the early 2004 and shortly thereafter as a judge of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka. In 2014, Honorable Lordship was appointed as the acting Chief Justice of Sri Lanka. Apart from his judicial work, Justice Marsood Sir has been involved in social mobility and law reform initiatives and is currently the chairman of the committee appointed by the government to suggest amendments to the Muslim Marriage and Divorce Acts in force in Sri Lanka. Honorable Lordship is an elected member of the Faculty Board of Law Faculty of the University of Colombo and a member of the board on the Management of the Judges Institute of Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our distinguished guest of honor, Honorable Lordship, Honorable Justice Salim Marsood Sir, Judge, Supreme Court of Sri Lanka and non-resident Justice of Appeal, Supreme Court of Fiji. Over to you, Honorable Sir.
Thank you, Professor Sumitra Singh, and all the other guests of honor who are present today. And in fact, I have to refer to Professor Aditya Toma, the chairman of or chairperson of this conference, Honorable Chief Justice of India, who is expected to join us, Honorable R.P. Ramana, and also Honorable Chancellor of Amity University, Honorable Dr. Atul Chavan, Vice Chancellor of Amity Law School, Professor Dr. Bhavinder Shukla, and all the other dignitaries taking part in this valedictory session. And greetings to all of you. Namaste, Vanakkam. Those are the two languages I know a little. And of course, in Sinhalese, we say Ayubowan, which means live long life, and long life has to go with good health. So blessings to every one of you present here today. I must particularly thank the person who invited me, Associate Professor and host Sumitra Singh, for her initial invitation and consistent prompting, which resulted in my joining Amity. And I think when you join Amity, you don't leave Amity, because Amity is essential for unity. And in those words, I may just say this. I have retired from the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka, and I now am only a Justice of Appeal in Fiji on a non-resident basis. And I have been able to participate to a great extent with the University of Colombo, the Faculty of Law, as a faculty board member. And this has given me a kind of tag that I am a part-time academic and a professional who has the icing on the cake was being a judge for a number of years in Sri Lanka and also in Fiji. I have completed 10 years in Fiji as well. So I have had the opportunity of studying comparative law. Even before I started all this, when I went on a scholarship to University of San Diego in United States, I finished my master's degree, and then I was invited by the university to teach comparative law. At that time, I had very little knowledge of comparative law. I have not studied it formally, and I was asked to do this teaching. And I just asked them, I have not done any formal study of comparative law, and why do you want me to teach comparative law? Because I went there to study international trade law. And then I was told that you come from a museum of laws. In Sri Lanka, you have a combination of laws, which is to some extent a little interesting. I think you all know, ladies and gentlemen, that we have law for a long time. I think from the time we had Mr. Adam, there was no need for law because he was all alone. And then came Mrs. Eve, and then there were quarrels, and they first quarreled about Apple, and Apple continues to torment us. We have Apple phones and all sorts of things, but these quarrels later became disputes, and when the number of disputes increased, we had to find ways of resolving those disputes. And one of the ways was through litigation and judicial determination. And this is how law came into existence. It was a combination of both customary law and also law that has been imposed by sovereigns or legislative bodies, etc. But then when the law developed, we found that the family of laws became diverse. Why? Because society was diverse. The culture of the people was very, very different from each other. We had different languages, ethnic groups, and religions, faiths, and it was necessary then for law to be diverse. And when the diversity of the law increased, then we also had various kinds of laws. I think in the beginning, we were talking about various codes of laws. Like, for instance, the code of Urukagina of Mesopotamia, the code of Hammurabi from Babylon, the 12 tables Rome. Then we had many other kinds of laws. We call the edicts of Ashoka, the law of Manu, the Tirukural of the Tamils, and of course the Corpus Juris of Justinian, and many other types of laws, codes of laws came into being. And as a result, we found that there are many types of laws, many families of laws. And we basically recognized two kind of laws. One we call the common law, which hails from the United Kingdom, the English law, based on the English common law. And then we have also the tradition known as the civil law, which was more, which originated, I think, from Rome, and then mixed up with Dutch and Germanic customs and became customary Roman Dutch law. And the very, very important feature that Sri Lanka enjoys is that Sri Lanka has a common law, which is based on Roman Dutch law. And we have the methodology of law, which is not civil law, but common law. In other words, we follow the English traditions of stare decisis and all the other binding precedent and the modus of the English law. At the same time, we have as our common law the Roman Dutch law, which is civil law in essence. And then because of this diversity, we in Sri Lanka also we have various faiths because we were in the Silk Route. We had people visiting Sri Lanka for trade along the Silk Route. They went towards China from the west. And then we as a result of that, we had a great deal of diversity in our culture, in our religious background, in our ethnicities, and so much so that law becoming diverse needed, in fact, to some extent, empathy, which is necessary because when we have people of diverse origins, they have to know each other rather than to regard the others as people who are opposed to them. And the need for this and the need to maintain amity, peace, and unity as a nation makes it very imperative to study comparative law. And I'm therefore very, very happy that I'm addressing this valedictory session of this great conference that has resulted in around 70 presentations of papers. And what is important is that when these papers are presented, they are the product of research that takes place a great deal of time and great deal of effort. But what a researcher does is to bring to focus the features of the area in which he is researching. And now all these research papers are put together at this third conference on comparative law, which has resulted in a great opportunity for people from various backgrounds and various legal traditions to exchange views, which is very, very crucial. Now, I was listening with great interest to the address by Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, who was talking about the Constitution of India, which has been a great source of inspiration even to Sri Lanka. I think you know that we at one time had one official language in Sri Lanka. Sinhalese was the official language. Later, by the 13th Amendment, thanks to the input from one of your leaders, late Rajiv Gandhi, who entered into a pact with the president of Sri Lanka to bring about some kind of reconciliation among people of divergent views and ethnicities, Tamil was also introduced as an official language. And English is now in Sri Lanka the linked language. So we have found ways in which we can try to understand each other and interact with each other and live in harmony with each other. So these are lessons for us. And why I was referring to Justice Bhati with great respect, he was talking about the Constitution of India, which he cherished. Of course, he had reservations about certain things as well. But I must say that as a student of constitutional law, I loved a book which was written by Sirvai on the Indian Constitution, very critical. And it's important to be critical because I find that when you read Sharvai on the Indian Constitution, you can see how he analyzes, or how Sirvai, I think he's no more any, I don't think he's living now, but how the analysis took place and how the various aspects of even judicial decisions were sometimes critically examined, which is very, very important, objectively analyzed. And as a counsel, I have been in the Attorney General's Department of Sri Lanka for 28 years. Sirvai on the Indian Constitution was my Bible. And I say this without any reservation because I have learned a lot from that. On one occasion, there was a very important case which came up in the Sri Lankan Supreme Court where I was defending a censorship law in Sri Lanka. And the learned counsel who was opposed to me, who was a very distinguished, very leading counsel, he came with all the American law books on the Fourth Amendment, etc., very frightening to me. And I was pretty young compared to him. But then I had read Sirvai. And Sirvai says in not every aspect that we in India can follow the American law. He has explained that there are certain things from the American jurisprudence that have not been embodied in the Indian Constitution. I learned that from Sirvai. And then I was able to present an argument in court to distinguish the American law on that, in the lines that had been argued by Sirvai. And as a result, I was able to succeed in this case. So as a counsel in court, I have found it very, very useful to look at other constitutions, other jurisprudence, American, Indian, and many other jurisdictions. And later on, when I became a judge, again, I found it very useful to look at the laws of the other nations. I have written some judgments where the Sri Lankan common law had difficulties. And I will explain why the Sri Lankan common law had difficulties. Our common law, which was introduced to Sri Lanka by the Dutch who ruled Sri Lanka from 1658 to 1896, before the British took over from them, they introduced Roman Dutch law as Sri Lanka's law. And when the British took over, by the proclamation of 1796, I think, it was proclaimed that they will not displace the Roman Dutch law. And although English law was introduced in certain respects by a law known as the Introduction of English Law Ordinance, we were given certain parts of English law, like English commercial and corporate law, business law, and we were also given the criminal aspects, the penal code. I think our penal code is similar to the Indian penal code based on it's a codification of the English common law relating to penal law, and the law of evidence, which also we inherited from the British, but subject to those exceptional situations. On most matters in Sri Lanka, even now, we decide cases according to what we call the Roman Dutch law. And the question that arose in one particular case, which I wanted to highlight, I will refer to the name of the case. It's a case called Priyani Zoisa versus Rienzi Arsakulratna, which is reported in 2001, Sri Lanka Law Reports, page 293. In this Rienzi Arsakulratna case, what happened was Rienzi, who was also a personal friend of mine, lost his daughter, which he claimed was due to the negligence of a doctor. And it was highly fought out case. And I think ultimately in the original court, the father of the girl who died was successful. But later on, when it went up to the higher courts, the courts took the view that the lex equilia, which is the basic statute in Roman Dutch law that opened the way for delictual liability, which is the same as tort liability, liability in tort. In Roman Dutch law terminology, it's known as delictual liability. And whether it applies to what is known as sentimental values. And the Supreme Court took the view that sentimental value as such was not recognized by the Roman Dutch law, and therefore they cannot give any damages on that basis for loss of company of the daughter, etc., to the father and the mother of the child. So I think in that case, the argument was made that the common law of Sri Lanka cannot stand still. It has to be developed progressively. I say this because progressive development is important for any residuary law, like the Sri Lankan Roman Dutch law, and for that matter, for any law. In fact, that was emphasized by other speakers before me. They pointed out that when you have various new issues coming, in a way, the issues become solutions and solutions become issues. One example is AI technology. We have AI, and AI helps to solve problems. In many areas, AI is used. But at the same time, artificial intelligence can create problems, particularly in relation to privacy rights and various other areas. And in fact, when I think there was another speaker, I remember his name, I think it is Mr. Who was talking about patents and things like that. I cannot recollect his name. He was mentioning that how the need to progress with new intellectual discoveries, technological discoveries, and it becomes very important for us to study law in two different ways. One is we should look at the interactions or intersections that law has with other disciplines, like technology, science, biology, everything else under the sun. And also the interactions that law has with other jurisdictions, that is comparative law, so to speak. And these two interactions and intersections are very important for the development of the law. And in fact, as a judge, I found it very useful when I considered it necessary to develop the law or find a solution which is not there in statutes. We can't send it back to Parliament and ask Parliament to legislate. No, we can't do that. But then we have to find a solution within the framework of the common law. And in regard to that, Justice Dheera Ratna, Lordship Justice Dheera Ratna, who gave the judgment in the Rianzi Arsakulatna case, made this comment. He said, his words are these: the basic, his reasoning in this case was, according to the laws and institutions that we are following the laws and institutions that that was followed by the Dutch in the earlier time when the Dutch was in power, that has been regarded as part of our law, our common law. Now, he said that you can't progressively develop that because the proclamation relevant to this has not given that power to the courts. The power has been given to various other bodies, but not to the courts. And therefore, we are helpless. We can't develop the law. But then I find that in another famous case called Codisference case, it's a very famous case of the Privy Council. It is Attorney General versus Codisference, which is reported in 1934. Sorry, it's reported in. Let me see. It's in 1969 AC. Now, in that case, the court, Lord Diplock, speaking for the Privy Council, he said, the law cannot stand still and it must progress to meet the needs and challenges of society. And I think that gives the cue for us. But then we have a problem because we have contradictory judgments. We have Rianzi Arsakulatna's case and the Codisference case speaking two different things. And then if the legislature doesn't step in, I think the judicial decisions of the future may have to find a solution. So as an academic, I mean, wearing my cap as an academic, and in Sri Lanka, we are contemplating constitutional reform.
Yeah, Lordship, can I take a second, if
Yes.
you don't mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, our honorable founder president, about whom I was talking about, the man who has created this Amity universe, the man who has given us 12,000 law students to study law. He has come here, and let us all welcome him and with a round hand of applause. And then on behalf of the Amity Law School, Noida, we are really fortunate that sir has come to us to give his blessings. Now,
thank you, Honorable Mr. Justice Maroof.
Yes,
so
welcome, Dr. Ashok Chavan. Very nice to see you and enjoy the evening. But what I was saying was that I was talking about the fact that it is necessary for us to find a way out of this deadlock. We have Arsakulatna's case saying that you can't develop the law, the common law, except through the legislature. And we have the Codisference case saying the opposite, saying that you can progressively develop the law. And so they both were apex courts, because at that time, Privy Council was the apex court of Sri Lanka. And Supreme Court now, which gave the judgment in Rianzi Arsakulatna's case, is the apex court in Sri Lanka now. So how to resolve that? So we did a little research and we found that South Africa, from I think South Africa and Sri Lanka have something in common because we both follow the Roman Dutch common law. And in the South African constitution, they have made provisions for the purpose of permitting progressive development of the law expressly, and not only permitting, requiring. In fact, the provisions are very imperative provisions. I refer to section 173 of the South African Constitution and section 39(2) of the South African Constitution, which have expressly stated that the courts are not only empowered but it's incumbent on them to progressively develop the law. And I have recommended to the commission that is now making reforms in the constitution. There's a committee. I have informed the committee that you have to take into consideration this possibility of why should we be bound still by a proclamation made in 1799 and be impotent when it comes to developing our own law through the courts. So I think that it is a good thing. From this, I say that it's very important for us to study comparative law, borrow. I used to say, even in environmental law, I think we used to borrow a lot from Indian jurisprudence. I used to say across the Park Strait. In fact, I was writing some articles and I say, we look at the law across the Park Strait from India. And it's it has been a very important feature of my study of law that I was able to look at the Indian law, learn from India's strengths, and perhaps one or two mistakes that have been also referred to. And of course, we have to learn from each other. And that is one of the important features of comparative law. Comparative law teaches us to respect diversity and accept diversity, not only in culture and religion, but in the laws. And it's important for us to understand each other, understand their jurisprudence, judicial reasoning, and for us to progressively develop the law, borrowing from each other. We should never be ashamed to borrow from each other. That is my opinion. And I'm very thankful to the speakers who have addressed this conference for the last 2 days and who have enlightened us. And in fact, I wish every one of them the best and thank them for all the effort they have put in. And my blessings also to every one of us who's present here today. And let us meet next year at the next Amity, 4th Amity conference and exchange views. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lordship, Honorable Justice Salim Marsood, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a huge round of applause for Lordship. Thank you so much, sir, for gracing the occasion. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen,
Sumitra, I have a submission before the Lordship Salim Marsood sir. Salim Marsood ji.
Yes.
Sir, we like to send few students to do intern with you in Fiji, if you permit us.
In fact, I must tell you, sir, I am willing to do that. I will try to arrange that. I want to share one experience. I was, when Professor Madhav Menon was the head of the Indian Judicial Academy in Bhopal.
Yes.
He is in fact architect of that big campus there. Beautiful.
Yes.
I used to go and do lectures for Indian judges. And he allowed me the opportunity. And may he rest in peace now. He has passed away in Kerala a few years ago. But he gave me this opportunity. And I must say that when I was at this campus of the Indian Judicial Academy, we were accommodated in the place where the Supreme Court judges used to be accommodated. And across the hill, I saw another beautiful structure. And I asked them, what is this? And then they said, this is the law school. Then I said, I want to go to the law school because I have always, learning is very important and being with students, young students is very, very fascinating. It is a great inspiration for even judges and elder statesmen. I think we should practice this. So I just went over there. I told him I'm going to this law school. And when I walked in, I found all the students were working on computers. A lady and a young man came to me and said, we like to come to Sri Lanka. And at that time, I was able to arrange that. And the person who came to Sri Lanka, who's now a professor in one of the universities in India, I don't want to mention his name, but he became a close friend of my son and inspired my son. And my son is also a professor in a university in Singapore now. So you see how we learn from each other, interact with the benefit. So
absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, inshallah, God willing, I will try to arrange that and I will be in touch with you, sir.
It will be
Thank you.
so great of you, sir. It will be so great of you.
Honorable Justice Maruf Raja, Salim Marufji, I think it was a wonderful lecture. Each sentence of you was a guideline for us for future. And I have very special affinity with Sri Lanka. But during my studies of engineering in West Germany, I had two very close friends from Sri Lanka studying with me. And they were wonderful persons. And since then, I have a great liking for your country. And what I heard from you, I think we should have more blessings and association and guidance from you. Today, I will be suggesting to my law school, we make an international center for comparative law so that what you told is something mind-boggling. We should know the laws of other countries, make our laws better, and other countries should also learn from Indian system of jurisprudence. And I think your lecture was an eye-opener for me also. I greatly appreciate, sir. And Mother Menon was my real brother, like my real brother, and he has been instrumental in starting my law school. Now we have, as I told by Bandopadhyayji, we have 12,000 students studying law at the moment. And we will invite you also to our law school in Dubai, because that is developing very well. And there also you can give a comparative eyesight of the comparative law. Thank you very much for law school all inviting, sir, great scholar, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Founder President, sir. Well, Honorable Lordships and Madam Ladyship, we acknowledge the presence of our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir. I would like to tell you a little bit more about our Honorable Founder President, sir. Sir is one person who is the guiding light of life for all the Amitians. One person's vision to lead the society with education. And few years back, his mission to make India a knowledge superpower, and many years back, Sir's passion to innovate through education, together with his journey in quest of excellence, has made Amity University a leading research and innovation-driven university across the globe. Our Honorable Founder President, sir, is a person with a Midas touch, an embodiment of values and sanskars, who's been bestowed upon with several excellence and lifetime achievement awards for his remarkable achievements in the area of education. Sir is continuously creating history by conceptualizing, modernizing, and developing initiatives to promote scientific research and innovation with a strong belief that one should not follow where the path may lead. Instead, go where no path exists and leave a trail behind. Honorable Founder President, sir, we are also joined by Madam Ladyship, Honorable Ms. Justice Lyubka Petrova, and Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, Joint Secretary of Ministry of Law and Justice, Mr. Raghavendra, sir. So, sir, I cannot leave this opportunity of not inviting you to address and motivate us once again, sir. Over to Honorable Founder President, sir. We want to listen more from you, sir.
Mitra, what is the next program? What is still left in the program?
So he will be presenting the citations.
Right. So when you introduce me, you can always add the present time slave, because Dr. Bandopadhyay told me, sir, you have to come. Aditya Tomar, Shefali Raizada, all were pursuing, and today your alert came, Sumitra, sir, you have to come. I was in another important meeting. So that way, I am following always the instructions for you people. But I must tell you, if somebody will ask me, sir, which of your school you like most, I would say my Amity law schools in the 11 universities, because for any country's growth and development, law is of essential importance, because any foreign investor, any foreign students, they want to see first 4 things. What is the economic power of the country? What is law and order? And what is the intellectual capital of the country? And therefore and what is the military power? And I'm sure that with the visionary approach of my faculty members and students, we are marching ahead in all these 4 areas. My mission is to show to the whole world that how Asia can emerge as a continent which is the best continent in the whole world. You are invited today from 5 different continents. What a great initiative, because the time has come to understand each other, as Justice Salim Maruf also told. We have to know each other's laws. And Dr. Bandyopadhyay, we should, if we don't have already, MIT Center for Comparative Law.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Shefali Aditya, do we have any center at our law school? MIT Center
No, sir.
for
No.
International Center for Comparative Law. So to honor our all justices here, my lords, I think we should declare today that we will establish at our all MIT law schools in the country and overseas, MIT International Center for Comparative Law. Shefali, just one word from you. What do you think of it? Is it a good thought? What do you say, Shefali?
Sir, with honor, yes, it's a wonderful because it's a very new and emerging area, and the new innovative ideas we can explore, and through this platform we can give a very much a critical thinking in the area. So it's a very much emerging area. Thank you so much for giving.
Adit Tomar, what is your view?
Sir, it's a great idea, as we discussed in last 2 days, that a more study have already been done on the comparative constitutional law, but comparative law is a untouched subject, and that idea was greatly appreciated by Dr. Ladyship Gyan Sudha Mishra ji.
Right.
And she also appreciated the idea of a comparative law conference. So we will surely start, sir, as per your vision.
I'm glad that the Edith Brown University, Australia, has also participated with us. Very soon, we will be having our own university in Australia. The other day, Honorable Minister Piyush Goyal ji invited for a dinner, and our Simhamurthy went there. And the Australian people mentioned themselves that MIT University is going to come with their own university in Australia, and they were very happy. So I think this is the international recognition of my students, my faculty members. I would say that there is nothing impossible what my students cannot do. You tell me, can anybody else imagine that one university group has more than 12,000 students for graduate level, postgraduate level, PhD, LLM? So I would say that you all are instrumental in showing to the whole world that the legal acumen of our Indian lawyers, together in cooperation and collaboration with other law schools, I think we can make a better world, a better law system in the whole world. I'm very glad that our joint secretary from Ministry of Law has joined, and you heard this. Heard the appreciation of Pushpen Singh ji, which tells that I will have to hear his speech on the recording, and I'm getting it all recorded, and we will send to all students, those who could not attend today. But my compliment to all, because it was a great opportunity to take a decision. Dr. Bandyopadhyay sir, you will have to implement it. What is your idea of this establishment of MIT Global Center or International Center for Comparative Law?
Sir, all the time I say in all the forums that MIT University all the time have the forward-looking, endeavors, forward-looking approach. And behind this forward-looking approach, a man who stands is you. That is Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan. So when others are not thinking in India, even none of the national law universities are thinking in this line. And if we start it, it will be a great eye-opening to other law schools that look, with the MIT Law School, with the MIT group, we can start such type of endeavors for the benefit of our students and for the benefit of the citizen of this nation and for the citizen of the all world. So we have to learn lessons from each other, and that lessons will help us in terms of formulating our own law in a much better way. Like say, when we are talking about IPR and some deliberations came, and IPR, we took the idea from other countries while formulating the IPR. And similarly, the merger and acquisition, when it came over here, we took the idea from other countries. So, I mean, this way that our countries is going to be benefited, and our learning and our systems of judiciary or our system of law will also be learned by the scholar of the other countries, so that they can see the merits in our law. And this is going to be reciprocative, sir. And it's a brilliant idea. It's a good idea, sir. And all the time I say that, what others are not thinking, Amity is thinking. And that's the great thing, sir.
Also in India, the arbitration and mediation is picking up very fast. People are coming from different countries. Just now, one of the justices from Uttarakhand High Court retired, went to our convocation of MIT campus Dubai, and he told, I have been invited to Dubai by two big industrial houses to do arbitration here in Dubai. So he specially went, there and stayed there and visited also. So I think this.
I think sir, you are talking His Lordship Tandonji.
Yes, Rajesh Tandon. That is right.
Yes.
I think that will our study of comparative law will also equip us to know the laws of other countries, so that better mediation can be done, better arbitration can be done. The time is coming that the people will go to first mediation, and then arbitration, and then only to High Court or Supreme Court. So I think, Shefali, you entrust Sumitra to further navigate this center. Yes. Maybe Vandana Batra can also help. And our Justice Ved Prakash ji, involve him. He is a very enthusiastic helper. Sumitra, talk to Ved Prakash ji that you have to help. And I think we should make this center best in the country, because I have visited many law schools, national law schools, and Madhav Menon ji was also in different academies and all. And our MIT Law Academy, Judicial Academy can also participate in it. So I would say all my students, I compliment you. Any such decision when I take, it is because of my students, my faculty members, my research scholars, and also the IPR right is becoming very, very important nowadays, cyber law. So we will study the laws in all these important areas of different countries from different continents. Also, please let me know some papers, international papers, which have come about more than 160 papers. 4 or 5 papers I'll read myself, which give a good insight for us. So I would say, Sumitra, you just rang half an hour back, sir has to come. So yes, I could not escape. I was in another meeting, and the people were looking my face when I got this call from Devendra. I told there is an alert from one of my faculty of whom I am very greatly proud, and I left that meeting. They are waiting for me. So I will go back. But you continue, I'll sit few minutes more. But my compliment, congratulations, appreciation for all. It was a wonderful 2 days program, and partly I will listen on video. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Let's have a huge round of applause for so much of motivation that we have derived from Honorable Founder President, sir. So now we will work with 10 times more the energy now that we have met you virtually. Thank you, sir. So moving ahead, ladies and gentlemen, we would now be presenting the citations to our honorable dignitaries gracing the days in the valedictory session. I would request my colleague and the co-convener, Mr. Rupendra Singh, to present the citation of honors in the presence of Honorable Founder President, Chairman, sir, additional directors, and we would now be presenting the citations. And the citation reads that the citation is presented to Honorable Dr. Justice Salim Marsouf in the valedictory ceremony of the International Conference on Comparative Law on Saturday, the 19th day of February, 2022. His Lordship is a former judge of the Supreme Court of Sri Lanka and the non-resident judge of the Supreme Court of Fiji. He has contributed in the development of legal jurisprudence of Sri Lanka. We express our heartfelt gratitude to His Lordship for sparing time and sharing his inputs. We hereby recognize the contribution of His Lordship and extend our sincere thanks to him. Presented by Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, Western Australia, in the august presence of our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan. Your Lordship, Justice Salim Marsouf, sir, please accept our citation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I am very happy and really appreciate your kind gesture. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for gracing the occasion. Thank you so much, sir. We would now be presenting the next citation, and the citation is presented to Honorable Ms. Justice Lyubka Petrova, ma'am, in the valedictory ceremony of the International Conference on Comparative Law on Sunday, the 19th day of February 2022. Her ladyship is a judge at the Supreme Administrative Court of Bulgaria and a member of the European Association of Judges for Mediation. We express gratitude to her ladyship for gracing this occasion and showering her blessings. We hereby recognize the contribution of her ladyship and extend our heartfelt gratitude to her. Presented by Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, Western Australia, in the august presence of our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir. Honorable Ladyship, Madam Justice Lyubka Petrova, please accept our citation.
Thank you very much. I'm honored.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for gracing the occasion. We would now be presenting the citation to Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, in the valedictory ceremony of the International Conference on Comparative Law on Saturday, the 19th day of February 2022. His Lordship is a judge at the High Court of Rajasthan with focus on writ jurisdiction, election, education, revenue, and public interest litigation, and illustrious personality with number of judgments to his credit. His Lordship is a person to reckon. We are extremely thankful to Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh, sir, for investing his valuable time and sharing his insightful thoughts. We hereby recognize the contribution of his Lordship and extend our heartfelt gratitude to him. Presented by Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, Western Australia, in the august presence of our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir. Honorable Lordship, Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, sir, please accept a citation.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the university. You're doing a great job. Keep illuminating the minds. Knowledge is most important. Education and wisdom will follow. You are doing a great job. Thank you so much for allowing me to participate in such a good program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, we would invite you also to our Amity University, Rajasthan. Sumitra, tell to Asim Chauhanji, Additional President, that it will be a great asset and value addition to invite my lord there in Amity University, Rajasthan.
Sure, sir. Sir, I will send the mail today itself. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Honorable Justice Pushpendra, sir. So you are already Amity family. So thank you, sir. We would now be presenting the citation to Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, sir, in the valedictory ceremony of the International Conference on Comparative Law on Saturday, the 19th day of February 2022. Mr. Raghavendra, a vibrant bureaucrat with a passion for intellectual property rights and illustrious personality with significant contributions to the drafting of the WIPO treaties. We are extremely grateful to Mr. Raghavendra for sparing his valuable time and sharing his thoughts with us. We hereby recognize the contribution of Mr. Raghavendra and extend our sincere gratitude to him. Presented by Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, and School of Business and Law at Edith Cowan University, Western Australia, in the august presence of our Honorable Founder President, Dr. Ashok K. Chauhan, sir. Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, sir, I would request you to please accept the citation. Raghavendra, sir, can you hear me? Sir, you're on mute, sir. Raghavendra, sir, you're on mute. Am I audible, Rupendra, sir?
Yes, Sumitra, you are audible. Is he there? Just check.
Yes, sir. Yeah, Raghavendra, sir, you are on mute, sir.
Thank you very much. I would like to congratulate all of you, and thanks for inviting me to be part of this honorable panel. So many judges are there, and I learned a lot from them. And again, congratulations to Sri Dr. Chauhanji and entire your Amity team holding such an important conference on comparative law. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raghavendra, sir. Thank you so much.
Mr. Raghavendra, I know the importance of the position you are holding. Mr. Dr. R.M. Sharma, who was long years Additional Secretary, Ministry of Law, is since 10 years my principal chief advisor. And recently he has been requested by the Home Minister to be also his advisor. So whenever I have a problem in law, understand how the things will run, I just ring Dr. Arun Sharma, because in the law ministry, they know everything from the whole world, how the world is scenario or common civil code. Yesterday I rang him, people are talking about common civil code. So sir, what I wanted to say, you are sitting in a position, you can help a lot, guide us a lot in our international center of comparative law. So Mitra, keep an eye upon our great joint secretary, and he will be a very great help.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Definitely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lordships and Raghavendra, sir, for accepting the citations. Ladies and gentlemen, as Chairman sir and Aditya Tomar sir said that 160 papers were presented. So I'm getting very nervous because now the results of the best paper and second best paper awards are going to be announced. So I cannot take up so much of nervousness. Yes, sir.
Sumitra, before we
Yes,
proceed, let me say for the benefit of others.
Yes, sir.
Sir, if you could recollect, we actually gave the honorary associate professorship to Professor Joshua, who is now actually in the University of Edith Cowan, Western Australia, in the School of Business and Law. Actually, sir, we are conducting this conference in collaboration with that university, and all interfacing with that university in terms of collaboration. It is his contribution, and that his contribution to be recognized. And thank you, Joshua, once again.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
And now, because I said I'm getting nervous announcing the results, so the entire onus is now on none other than Dr. Joshua Aston, Associate Professor, Associate Dean of Law, School of Business of Law at Edith Cowan University. And sir, he's also the conference chairperson of Australia. So over to Dr. Joshua Aston. Sir, I would request you to announce the results of the best paper and the second best paper awards. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Singh. Good evening from Western Australia to all the dignitaries present on the days, as well as all the participants and the listeners. Now, this is the moment for which all the participants have been anxiously waiting for. This is the moment where we will be declaring the results for the best paper and the second best paper award. So that's the time has come. Now, over the last 2 days, this conference has seen insightful keynote addresses and paper presentations of various themes on the conference. All participants have done a great job, and I congratulate each one of them for engaging in a meaningful dialogue during this conference. Now, without any further delay, I am delighted to make the honors. So for the first technical session on comparative constitutional law, the best paper prize went to Mr. Hakim Abbas, and the second best paper award went to Dr. Prafulla Pierce and Mr. Zulfikar Ali. The technical session 2, the prize went for the first best paper award to Miss Palak Umesh Jagtiani and Mr. Chandril Chattopadhyay and Miss Sadia Sultana. And the second best paper presenter award went to Miss Shailaja Khosla and Miss Renee Baker and Miss Camilla Anderson. Technical session 3, the best paper presenter award went to Miss Aradhya Singh, and the second best paper presenter award went to Miss Purva Kaushik and Miss Prerna Garg and Miss Parvati Agarwal. For technical session 4, the first best paper presenter award went to Miss Ananya Kumar and Dr. Poonam Verma, and the second best paper presenter award went to Mr. Hardik Sharma. Technical session 5, the best paper presenter award went to Miss Kartika Yadav and Miss Kashish Mathur, and the second best paper presenter award went to Miss Ratna Malhotra. And finally, for technical session 6, the best paper presenter award went to Miss Venu Parini and Dr. Sanjana Sharma Marwa, and the second best paper presenter award went to Dr. Tanzim Afroz and Miss Laura Tripp. So congratulations to all. I would like to also thank all the assessors. I know it was not an easy task to accomplish, as we had excellent papers just like every year. On behalf of all the conference organizers, I congratulate all the winners and not just the winners, but also all the participants for their efforts. And I hope to see you all at the 4th Annual International Conference next year. So with those few words, I would like to wish everyone good health and prosperity. Thank you, and over to you, Dr. Sumitra.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joshua Aston, for declaring the results.
I think we should have a regular touch with Mr. Joshua in Australia, and this gives me idea, Dr. Bandyopadhyay, make from our Amity University law schools the international network of, you can give the name, think on the name, Amity International for Law Luminaries, and one more, those who are junior person, luminaries will be very senior person, judges, law luminaries and law experts, or something like that. Aditya Tomar, what can be Amity International Center for example, when we have today met Joshua, you people know better, I met today. He is a great asset for our all plans to, in every area, because I know the Edinburgh University is a very well numbered university or rated university. So what center? Amity International Center for Law Luminaries, and tell me, who will tell?
Sir, I will tell, sir, legal professionals.
Legal professionals. But we should also give some space for the seniors. If you will be retired judges, will be taking in that legal luminaries and professionals. Amity International Center for Joshua ji, you tell Amity in the center, so that we'll do a lot of network in all countries with the thousands of members of this. Because when they do the international law moot court, a lot of people comes, and that is why. But the idea is, when we meet somebody, then we should have a continuous contact with them, and my student, my faculty member will do it. So, Shefali, what is the suggestion? Amity Center, Amity International Center for. She told legal professional.
Legal fraternity.
Professionals. Okay. What do you do on Monday or Tuesday? You send me your opinion, and then we'll establish it. Because the 2 days time and energy and interest which you have taken is something unparalleled. So I think we should make a history out of these 2 days by these 2 centers. So give me the name on Monday, Tuesday, so that we can start announcing it already. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And just wanted to congratulate you. You're welcome to Australia, and I'll be here.
Correct.
So please use me.
We'll definitely come. We'll definitely come.
Dr. Joshua, we are together, I think, since long back, and now yes.
Now, Joshua, you cannot separate yourself from us, because you are already with us. You are an Amitian.
Sir.
Once an Amitian is always an Amitian.
And not only that, he is our honorary associate professor.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Justice Salim Maroof told that amity, one can never forget, a very valuable sentence. Always is amity, there is amity. So that sentence tells the thinking of our great luminaries. The sentence he told, you can listen it again. Amity is everywhere. Amity you can't leave out of your heart. Amity is, he gave a very good comment, and I will hear it again and get it typed and put on my table what he told.
Thank you, Honorable Founder President, sir. We would send you the names of the international legal network of academics or legal luminaries. I think we all will discuss, and we will send you the mail by Monday, sir. Thank you so much, sir. And moving ahead with the flow of the conference, it's time now to present the conference report, and I would request my colleague and conference co-convener, Mr. Rupendra Singh, to present the comprehensive conference report.
Thank you very much, Sumitra ma'am. Good evening, one and all present. I'm here to present the report of a 3rd International Conference on Comparative Law 2022. This journey started off in 2019, where we first hosted international conference, and today we stand at its 3rd edition. Amity Law School, Noida, Uttar Pradesh, in collaboration with the School of Business and Law, Valedictory University, Western Australia, has jointly hosted this 2-day conference. The main theme of our conference is comparative law, Try to Compare, which focuses on interconnectedness of people, business, and government with greater usage of international and comparative legal study. The present conference has incorporated some sub-themes like comparative constitutional law, comparative criminal law, comparative media, IPR and technology laws, comparative business law, and comparative family laws. In this conference, other than inaugural and the valedictory session, we had 4 keynote sessions. Further, we have received more than 160 abstracts, and after reviewing them, around 80 papers have been presented in the technical sessions held in 6 different sessions. Also taking forward the mandate of the National Education Policy 2020 with a vision to strengthen better placement in internship and industry engagement, we had ventured into entering into a partnership with industry partners. So MOUs was signed with 3 industry partners, namely Trans India Law Associates, SS Rana and Company, and Indian National Bar Association. I would like to inform that keynote sessions were very thought-provoking and insightful. To give you a glimpse of these, in keynote sessions, we have a debate that what methodology is to be adopted for study of a comparative law. The evolution of constitutionalism across the globe has been discussed and debated. Significance of reservation and intent of the framers of the Constitution, and how with changing times, there needs to be a change in our perspectives that has been discussed. Emergence of new Constitution, need for staying in line with the core element of the Constitution or basic structure doctrine has been discussed and deliberated. The borrowing for constitutional amendment is to be done after understanding the significance of the judgment of law from each country, like on the basis of history or on the factors that impacted or has a consequence on the judgment. Finality in arbitral awards, how it paves way for the arbitration need for promoting public policy. The new technologies, the privacy rights, the data related rights have been discussed during the conference. This conference has truly contributed in developing the jurisprudence of comparative law. We intend to take forward the learnings of this conference to establish collaborations in teaching and research. We hope that all the participants have benefited from this conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rupendra sir, for presenting the report. Ladies and gentlemen, we would now be releasing 2 books on comparative law. And I think this will also provide us more motivation for establishing the International Center for Comparative Law, as our Honorable Founder President Sir just told us that we are going to do. And so we are very happy about it. So this book, Rupendra sir, can you zoom it a bit? Yeah, of course. Thank you. So this is the first book which is published by Thomson Reuters. This is a book on comparative law, and it talks about the facets, nuances, and intricacies of comparative law. Edited by Professor Dr. Aditya Tomar sir, Dr. Vaishali Arora, and Dr. Joshua Aston. And the foreword is written by Honorable Mr. Justice Deepak Mishra sir and Honorable Mr. Justice, Madam Justice Indira Banerjee ma'am. And it has got so many chapters, as you can see, ranging into the comparative law of different countries, be it into business laws or different kinds of copyrights, international treaties. We would now be releasing another book on comparative law, and this book is published by Bharati Publications. Can you again share it, Rupendra sir?
Just a minute.
Yeah, thank you. So another book is being published by Bharati Publications based at New Delhi. And again, it's based on comparative law. It talks about the changing paradigm of law and policy in a comparative way. So a comparative assessment, with editor-in-chief being Professor Dr. Aditya Tomar sir, editors being Dr. Jane Iyer Matthew ma'am. And it talks about different facets of paradigms of law and policy making in different countries. As you can see, the chapters ranging from environment to judiciary to the challenges which are going in the COVID times. And it also talks about the comparative assessment models between India and the United States of America in terms of policy making and the laws which are associated with it. And another things like, for example, right to privacy and India and Australia. What is the legal dichotomy behind it? So the topics are ranging diversely in terms of comparative aspects. Congratulations, Amity Law School, Noida, And congratulations the entire organizing committee of this conference for releasing 2 books on comparative law. Many congratulations all the students and faculty members who presented their papers and whose papers are published in both of these books. Well, it's time to bid adieu to this great platform of the valedictory ceremony. I never knew, but it's time to bid adieu. Never knew that this will be such a great day when we will have more new dimensions and paradigms to follow with the blessings of Honorable Founder President. So we are now on our way, paving the way for International Center for Comparative Law. Very soon when we meet on the next platform, perhaps we will be virtually or physically in that center, all of us. So as Eleanor Roosevelt says, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. At this platform, we have seen a dream today, and tomorrow on the next platform, let's see, it gets converted into a real reality. So bidding adieu to this platform, I would now request Dr. Jane Iyer.
Sumitra, you may like to announce that the most prestigious moot court competition which are being recognized by ILSA, International Law Student Association, India round is going to take place on the valedictory session is going to take place on 27th. So all of you are invited to be present on the valedictory session. And in addition to that, we are also going to have an ADR tournament on 2nd and 3rd of March. So there we'll be talking about arbitrations and mediations and stuff like that. So this, I think, for the benefit of everybody, and I'm taking this opportunity in inviting everybody on virtual platform. Thank you.
Which are the dates? Which are the dates? 24th is the valedictory.
27th.
27th, and for 2 days, starting on.
It is starting from 24th because preliminary, quarter, semi-final, and final. Final will be taking place on 27th, and valedictory will take place on 27th.
Great. Sumitra, write to Admiral Co-Chair that 2 copies of each of the both books should be sent to all libraries of Amity Law Schools of all of Amity universities, and also procure 2 copies for me of each book, because one I'll keep at my residence and one I'll keep in my office. Because Aditya Tomar, compliment to you for this book, because I don't know, Aditya Tomar, did you send me this book? Maybe if you have sent me, I could not read it.
No, sir, it has not yet come, but it will be.
We released it today, and it would be in publication form. We will receive in the month of March.
Okay,
so
great.
We got the soft copy. Hard copy would be received in March, sir. So then I would be submitted in your honor, sir.
Great. So I think, and in each library, Sumitra, 2 copies of each book, and 2 copies for me, because this very wonderful subject or we were discussing today. Who was the writer of second book? So Sumitra, who was the writer of second book? I could not grasp.
Sir, this is an edited book, and many authors have contributed in the edited book on the different.
Dr. Aditya Tomar sir is the editor-in-chief, sir, in both the books.
Both the books. Okay, great. Wonderful.
Sir, second book is edited by the convener of this own conference, Dr. Jain, Dr. Rupendra Singh, and Dr. Sakshi Parasar, sir.
Okay.
Co-editors. They are the co-editors.
Great. Tino ko mera bahut ashirwad. All 3 my blessings. But these are the people those who take initiative. And those who take initiative make always carrier. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are so beholden with your words, and we get filled with so much of energy, undaunted to do so many things. So, sir, it's time to bid adieu to this platform, but I will request everybody to stay back, because after the vote of thanks that Dr. Jain will present, there is a short gratitude video, which is as a token of a love, warmth for all the people who have joined this conference in 2 days. So I would now request Dr. Jane Iyer Matthew, conference convener and assistant professor of law, to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Sumitra ma'am. There is no real ending. It's just a place where you stop the story. Eminent dignitaries on the panel, participants, faculty, and students. I'm before you to propose the vote of thanks. The last 2 days has provided insights into inspiring thought processes and deliberations on varied facets of comparative law. It is also the culmination of efforts of several people who have helped in materializing this event. Firstly, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Honorable Mr. Justice Salim Marsouf for having spared his valuable time for gracing this occasion and sharing his inputs. On behalf of Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, I extend our heartfelt thanks to you, sir. I also extend our heartiest gratitude to Honorable Ms. Justice Lubka Petrova, Judge, Supreme Administrative Court of Bulgaria, for showering her blessings and also making this event a memorable one for us. On behalf of Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, I extend our sincere thanks to you, sir. To you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to express our earnest appreciation and gratitude to Honorable Dr. Justice Pushpendra Singh Bhati, Judge, Rajasthan High Court, for having accepted our invite and for enriching this event. I, on behalf of Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, extend our sincere gratitude to you, sir. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to Mr. G.R. Raghavendra, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Law and Justice, for having graced this occasion and for also having shared his valuable insights to us. Thank you, sir. We are indeed extremely grateful to our founder president, Ashok K. Chauhan, sir, who is the pillar of our institution, and without whose benevolence and support, this event would not have been worthwhile. We from Amity Law School, Noida, acknowledge your presence and are thankful to you for making this event possible. It would be incongruous of me if I do not mention the contributions of our Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Atul Chauhan, who has been the backbone of our institution and relentlessly supporting us in all our endeavors. On behalf of Amity Law School, Noida, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, I extend our gratitude and indebtedness to you, sir. We are greatly indebted to our Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, for her continuous support and advice, which has greatly helped towards the successful completion of this event. I extend our sincere thanks to you, ma'am. Our chairman, sir, Professor Dr. D.K. Bandyopadhyay, has been an enormous support all throughout for the smooth functioning of this event. His wholehearted support and zeal for perfection has been an inspiration for us. I extend our earnest gratitude to you, sir, on behalf of Amity Law School, Noida, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University. Our special thanks are due to Dr. Aditya Thoma, sir, and Dr. Shefali Raizada, ma'am, joint HOIs and additional deans, who has left no stone unturned in realizing this event. Without their wholehearted support and guidance, I believe this event would not have been a reality. Thank you, sir and ma'am, for your ardent support. We also extend our heartiest gratitude to our collaborating partners, Dr. Joshua N. Aston from School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, for all the support. He has meticulously provided us all necessary inputs in bettering our preparations. On behalf of Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, we extend our gratitude to you, sir. We are also thankful to our academic partners for collaborating with us. We are also grateful to Pahuja Academy, who are our sponsors, who have supported us in this event. A major reason why this event was success is due to the participation of students and faculties and advocates who have come forward to participate in this event. Your presence has augmented this event. On behalf of Amity Law School, Noida, Amity University, and School of Business and Law, Edith Cowan University, we are extremely thankful to all the participants. We are indeed grateful to the media personnel for covering the event and for their continuous support. I also am thankful to the IT team and especially Mr. Arvind for their wholehearted support during both the days of the conference. I believe it is worth mentioning the efforts of Mr. Rupendra Singh and Dr. Sakshi Parashar, co-conveners of the International Conference on Comparative Law, who has strenuously worked for the successful conduct of this event. Both of them have taken great pains in making this event a memorable one for everyone. I also extend our gratitude to Dr. Sumitra Singh, Dr. Lekha Rani Singh, and Ms. Priyanka Gai, who has relentlessly supported us from the very inception for the conduct of this conference. I also place on record our sincere thanks to all our keynote speakers and chairs and co-chairs of the technical sessions, who has been the inevitable force behind this event and has pushed forward to do more. Thank you all. I'm greatly thankful to all the faculty members of Amity Law School for having provided their seamless support for the successful conduct of this event. Without the joint support and cooperation of all the faculty colleagues, this conference would not have been fruitful. I extend our heartfelt thanks to all of you. This conference would not have been possible without the constant support of the student core committee and the volunteer students. They have stood tirelessly along with us throughout the planning, preparation, and execution of this event. Helen Keller once said, "Alone we can do little, together we can do much." Thank you to the whole team once again for backing us. I'm also thankful to all those who have joined for this two-day conference. Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude, and gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. On this note, I once again thank all of you for your cooperation and support, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Difficult job to vote of thanks, but you did in perfect way.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. Well, everybody, the two-day international conference on comparative law has ended, but the real work begins now, because we have to plan out how to build the International Center on Comparative Law and do many more things. But the outcome of a conference is more than that in a physical way. It is also in a subtle way. So as we believe in the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, taking amity to the world and bringing the world to amity, what kind of a world do we want to build in? At Amity, we want to build a world which is so beautiful, where there are no physical barriers, and we believe in what Rabindranath Tagore wanted, where the world hasn't been broken up into fragments by the narrow domestic walls, a place where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, and where the mind is led forward by thee into the ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake, progressing India into what is called as resilient India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. So thank you all for joining this platform of Amity University. I would now request my colleague and friend, Mr. Rupendra Singh, to present this token of gratitude and love in the form of a video, which we call as a gratitude video. Thank you all for joining us. This is for you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Honorable Founder President Sir, with your permission, now can we close the session? Thank you, everybody. So on behalf of, bye, everybody. On behalf of Honorable Founder President Sir, goodbye and God bless to everybody. Take care, everybody. COVID times are still prevalent, so do wear a mask whenever you go out. Keep washing your hands for 20 seconds and also see that you maintain a distance of 6 feet. Bye-bye. Take care from Amity University, Uttar Pradesh.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.